people, give the people what they want. Thank you. Another edition of Power to the People show. If you are listening in Atlanta, Georgia, if you want to see the show live, you can go to any of our social media platforms, and you can see us live right here in our makeshift studio while ours is being retrofitted in Buffalo, New York. Welcome, Buffalo. Welcome, Atlanta. And welcome all over the country to those who listen to and who watch the Power to the People show. Listen, it's going to be a wild ride today. So if you know of anybody who listens to the show, you might want to let them know when we come back from commercial, after we take care of a few little things, talk about a few little things. I'm going to tell a story that maybe other public figures would not tell, but I'm the public figure who caught COVID and was the first in this area to tell it publicly, and I told it publicly to try to save other people's lives.
Yes, sir.
And I remember being in a hospital bed and other people who had COVID, who were public officials, hid behind it, act like they didn't have it, tried to keep it quiet, as if COVID was some type of, well, it was a disease, it is a disease. But at the end of the day, I think that as leaders, we have to be transparent enough to share not only our good days, but one of the worst days of my life I'm going to share after the commercial break. But before I do that, we have some guests in the house, and I don't know, are y'all Bills? No, I already know.
You know I am.
I got one Bills fan, one die-hard Bills fan, Joe, and then I got Randy. And Randy, you can move that mic like right in the middle of you, and then make sure we got. Can you hear him? Yep. What about you, Randy?
Die-hard Cowboys fan.
You a die-hard Cowboys fan.
Cowboys.
And what made you sin like that?
What made me sin? They beat the Bills, so.
So
disrespect.
Disrespect and live right here.
2 years in a row.
And so you're a Cowboys fan.
Cowboys fan.
But who's going to the Super Bowl?
Seattle.
Yeah,
Denver,
neither one of the
Buffalo
teams. So we got something going on to get on Super Bowl Sunday. If we sell enough tickets, if we're not, we're gonna be at Joe's house. If it had just been, look, if I hadn't been through what I've been through, it would have been at my house. We'd be right in the big room. That's right. So we got something going on, and it's not just for members of True Bethel, and it's on Super Bowl Sunday. What we got going on, brothers?
All right, so the men's fellowship here at True Bethel Baptist Church, we do a Super Bowl party just about every year. We thank God and Pastor for that. But this Sunday, we're going to be at 472 Swan.
Yeah.
Doors are going to open at 5 p.m. It's a $5 donation.
$5 and they're going to eat $20 worth of food.
Absolutely. We have a nice little array of food there. We're going to have the TV set up. Just come on out and have a good time, safe and alcohol-free.
Yep.
And we're just going to enjoy ourselves and just fellowship a little bit. And then look forward to some more events coming from the Men's Fellowship from the True Bethel Baptist Church.
So, Randy, is this just for men of True Bethel?
No, it's like Joe said, it's men's fellowship, men's ministry event, but it's for anyone.
So women can come?
Women can come.
Yep.
Yeah, anybody can come. All are welcome.
It's just the men who are sponsoring it.
Yes, sir.
And so so right now what we need is, if you are interested, should they call the church? They still can call the church today. And then that way they can register, and then you can bring your money on the Super Bowl day.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Or Sunday morning before the game actually starts.
That's good. So check. Oh, that's right. We still got Sunday. You can bring it Sunday morning. At the end of the day, you can bring your family, hang out, family friendly, just watching the Super Bowl together. Nice, peaceful, hopefully warm atmosphere, some comfortable chairs, and just being able to fellowship. I just taught this last night, how the early church of the Bible, it wasn't just about singing and praising. Part of their worship was fellowship,
yes, sir.
Being together, hanging out together. So that's coming up Super Bowl Sunday. True Bethel is the place to be at our Swan Street location, $5. And you know how we do it at True Bethel. If you want to come and you don't have $5, we don't sweat it.
I was going to say that, but
Go
I'm
ahead.
glad you did.
Yeah, go ahead, because you know that's how we roll.
Right.
At the end of the day, if you don't have it, you don't have it. We still would love for you to come and be a part.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So what time doors open?
5 p.m.
5 p.m. What
Game
time is the game?
starts
At 6:30. Yeah, so they're going to start eating at 5. I might have to get there early this time so I can eat.
Yeah, we'll figure that part out. We're going to have some games and things out there. You want to play a little spades?
Yeah.
Maybe some checkers or some chess.
Well,
or something.
hopefully Quell will be there because I think I beat him last year. I'm not sure.
That's right. You guys did set up.
Yeah, we set up in maybe some dominoes. I got to get refreshed on the dominoes, though. I kind of forgot how to play dominoes. You play dominoes?
No, I don't play.
You don't play no dominoes?
Not in a while.
Yeah. Backgammon I've been on lately.
No, I'm a bunch of dominoes.
You're dominoes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I hope you come and teach me how to play that because I got all that stuff. I got dominoes. I don't know how to play it. I got chess. I did know how to play chess.
Yeah.
I'd have to get a refresher on chess. So it's going down Super Bowl Sunday. You can call the church 895-8222 extension 0, 895-8222 extension 0, and let us know that you want to come. I encourage you to bring young people, and especially young men, just to be around. But you can bring your daughters. You can bring whoever you want to bring. You can bring grandma and them because we got wheelchair accessible. We'll be in the lower sanctuary, so it's wheelchair accessible, and everybody's invited to come.
And don't bring the side piece and the main piece. You gotta determine which event you're going
where
to.
did that went?
I just had to. You just wanted to go ahead and just throw it out there. For the record.
I have no comment on that. I have no idea.
Listen,
I want to be on record that I have nothing to do with that last comment. A lot going on in the world right now. Let's talk local. India Walton has declared that she is running. Not she didn't declare, but the lieutenant. No, the lieutenant governor who's running for governor has said that he has picked India Walton as his pick for lieutenant governor.
Yeah, it's a very, India's a friend of the show. She's been on numerous times. That's no secret. But it's an interesting pick. I think with some of her work in New York City with the Mamdani campaign, which is interesting because now he's already endorsed Governor Hochul. But I think, you always try to, anybody downstate running always tries to grab somebody from upstate to try to balance out the wealth. So it should be an interesting ticket. I know people have had mixed reactions across the state, but as we talk about on the show, democracy is democracy, and everyone has a right to run. And I salute anyone who's brave or crazy enough to run. So I salute it. Yeah.
So she's running. This is going to be a very interesting race. The governor has picked her running mate.
Yes.
This will be if they prevail, this is going to be an all woman's ticket.
Yes.
I mean, it's going to be an all woman's ticket regardless. And we might be able to get that on YouTube and close the doors if you guys want to see the show on live. And so this is going to be an all women's ticket. And the other ticket is an all minority ticket.
Yes.
So I guess both tickets are minorities in different ways.
Absolutely.
Right?
I will say, I think big ups because however it folds out, Governor Hochul's running mate is an African-American woman. Mm-hmm. And then you have the Delgado Walton tickets, all African-American. So what does it say about the state of New York that majority of the people running on the Democrat or trying to run on a Democratic line are African-American? So I think shout out to New York for pushing the envelope and being forward-facing in that because I think that, again, that's remarkable because I don't think you're going to see that in too many other states.
Now, some people some Dems are concerned that if you have two strong tickets on the Democratic side, now, it's going to be a primary, so it's only going to be one left.
Yep.
I don't know New York State politics or New York State election law when it comes to state races, but like in the local race, somebody could still be on another line. I think all of these are only on Democratic lines, right?
Well, the run right now is heading toward the Democratic primary. You can still do independent lines statewide.
So, and that's what happened, I think, in the mayor's race, right?
Yes.
You still have some.
With that's what former Governor Cuomo did in the mayoral race.
Right.
Yes.
So I wonder, do we have some hints of that may be happening? Because right now, of course, the governor, the seated governor,
Yes.
In the polls,
Yeah.
is way ahead.
Right.
But if it's not as if this cannot happen.
No. And I think what what we're looking at is the fact that the Democratic Socialists in New York City showed out in big numbers. So I think this is just that next wave of like, can we keep that momentum going into another election cycle? So like you said, it'll be interesting. As we say on this show, I hope people stick to issues, not people, and give people a great choice.
Yeah, I totally agree, and so that was interesting. That was interesting to say the least. Finally, before we go to break and we come back and have a real conversation, I'm going to let you ask me whatever you want to ask me, and I want to be clear that you have not discussed with me.
Nope.
What we're going. I know what we're going to talk about because
Right.
I'm the one who agreed to it, and so the SNAP benefits have changed. The rules have changed this week all over, for the federal program. And now basically, depending on the age of your children, you have to work so many hours.
Wow.
So the expanded SNAP requirements mandated around 80 hours per month of work, volunteering, or training for able-bodied adults without dependents 18 to 64. There are some waivers.
Right.
If you are pregnant, if you are taking care of somebody who is not able-bodied, as they put in some of the words. Some states have added food purchase rules that you cannot purchase stuff like soda, candy, and additional processed foods.
Okay.
So what do you think about that?
I think we have again talked about. I think we all feel there always had to be some level of social reform, and how they consider it. I think you do had it was time for some new parameters. I would like to see how effectively how it rolls out, and I think with any policy, I think having certain people in the room. I've never been in a family on social benefits, so I'm not one of in the demographics to say whether right or wrong. And I think without those people in the room,
Well, as a taxpayer.
I think it's fair. I think like I said, you do have to put some parameters on it, and I think even with some of the carve outs, I think that's fair. And either way, I think people are still going to abuse them, whatever color or creed. There's going to be people that's going to abuse it still, but I think you did have to do something. And I agree that if we're giving public money, it should be to healthier food. I think on the second half of it, I think that's the more important thing. Getting real food and not processed food, not dyed food, not fried food, and things like that. I think that is the right call.
So one of my concerns, and I have several concerns, is that this 80-hour work week, if a person truly can't find a job,
Right.
there are areas,
Yeah.
for instance, rural areas and other areas where there are no jobs. So now, if I am I'd like to see something there that you also have to have proof that you are looking for a job.
It's almost like unemployment benefits. You
Right.
have to submit weekly that you're applying.
Absolutely. Because if you cut off a family from SNAP benefits, and there's already a struggle going on
Right.
to even get SNAP.
Yeah.
Now, if there's no employers around, or if I'm just not qualified, The children are going to suffer
Right.
because of a system that we know all too often is not friendly
Right.
to the poor.
Yes.
And, there are those who they should get a job. I don't disagree that able-bodied people should get a job.
Right.
But if there are, and this conversation is going to change.
Yes.
The more AI comes online and the less jobs that there are.
Absolutely.
So where people are like, this person needs a job, and that person, I totally agree. A man who does not work does not eat. But at the end of the day, is there work available?
Yes.
And our employers hiring. And the real answer is that there are some people that will not be able to get a job. And then if their SNAP benefits are also cut, I think that they're in a bad situation.
And like you said, and I think because generally if there's no jobs, there's no training program. If there's no training program, then there's no higher level job to get you off of benefits. So it is a snowball effect in certain areas that would have systemic socioeconomic issues. So hopefully it doesn't set those back. But like I said, I think the longer you do nothing, then you keep getting the same result. So I think you have to try something. And like I said, I think for years, I think a lot of people would say there needed to be social services reform.
So Janetta says, I don't agree on not purchasing soda and snacks. I'm a snack person. I can't wait to see how it turns out. Janique says, well, if they can't find a job, maybe they should have to volunteer. I'm all for that.
Okay.
In a place that needs assistance, where they also can learn a skill that can help them find a job.
That's fair.
That's fair.
I like that.
But give some alternatives, because if the only alternative is you have to be working
you're on
a
or off.
9-to-5 job and you can't find one, what does that mean? And so that's my concern. Listen, the hour is moving. We're gonna pay all of the bills, and then I'm gonna come back. For those in the Atlanta area, I'll give a little backdrop of what we're gonna talk about when we come back. I'm looking for the exact date in this memoir, but a few years ago. Let me see, the day, the moon, the sun, I think 4/8/24. Does that sound right? 4/8/24.
I thought it was 23.
It
might be.
I'm gonna look it up. We'll be right back.
When it comes to something as personal as your clothes, you need to deal with somebody you can trust. That's why so many people turn to Hobson's Dry Cleaning, conveniently located in the heart of the community at 874 East Delavan at the corner of Wyoming.
When you take your clothes to Hobson's, you can trust that they'll be ready on time.
You can trust that your whites will be white.
You can trust that you'll always get a fair price and service with a smile.
You can even trust that you won't have to get out of your car if you don't want to. Hobson's has a drive-through window for your convenience.
Trust is what it's all about at Hobson's Dry Cleaning.
Hobson's Dry Cleaning, your one-stop dry cleaners serving the community for over 30 years at 874 East Delavan at the corner of Wyoming. Call 891-8298. That's 891-8298.
Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home has 3 locations to serve you in Buffalo. 347 Peckham, 2258 Bailey Avenue, and Providence Memorial Chapel at 1275 Sycamore. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes offers traditional services, and they have services for all faiths. And at Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes, they have air-conditioned parlors and chapels. Financing is available, as is limousine service. At those difficult moments in your life, Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes is available where you are with counseling services. Call toll-free 877-885-7734. That's 877-885-7734. Or locally 845-5545. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes. We are here to serve you, here to serve this present age. Call today, toll-free 877-885-7734. Or email info@brianklewisfuneralhome.com.
So the date was July 19th, 2023. I'm going to read an excerpt from a memoir that I am now 15,000 words in, and that's without all the other stuff that has to go in it. And it starts out like this. My day off. Plan to spend it doing something I never do, and that was relaxing and doing nothing. As I laid there, the phone woke me up early, but I kept ignoring one ring after another. It wasn't uncommon to get phone calls early in the morning, especially if there was something happening in the city. Side note, because I was council president of the Common Council and pastor at True Bethel. Finally, after back-to-back calls, I decided to answer the phone. The voice on the other end was a reporter and asked if I would like to respond to the lawsuit. I asked, what lawsuit? Being sued was commonplace in the city of Buffalo, especially as Common Council president. The city got sued all the time. And in my groggy state, I asked, which suit? He then said against the church. At that point, we had an injury lawsuit we were engaged in, and had recently been dropped from some other suit involving another church that we had nothing to do with. I told the reporter I had no idea what he was talking about and would call him back. I called the church's business manager and asked her if she heard about a lawsuit. She was lost. We hung up, and I just tried to go back to sleep. Aggravated that so many reporters were calling me for somewhat routine lawsuits against nonprofit our size or against the city of Buffalo. Janice called me back. Her voice had changed from moments ago. There was a serious tone that shook me. And I wrote these words, D, and that's what she calls me. I just found out that there is indeed a lawsuit against the church, and there is a lawsuit against you. Numbness went through my body. I asked her who filed it, and she says someone named, and for the record, I'm never going to mention this woman's name, although it was public information. And this is a side note. And the reason I'm not going to do it is because the Bible tells me to treat others as I would have them treat me. And the one thing that I'm not going to do is shame another human living human. I try my best not to do that. So I will not be putting that out in the atmosphere. I know that feeling, and I'm not doing it. It was all over the news, and one ratings chasing station had put up a picture of me with a quote from the lawsuit. I laid there in total disbelief. Janice had looked in the records and found no person by that name. Although I meet a lot of people, I could not recall who, as she alleged, belonged to and volunteered at the church. How could this be? How could someone lie and a lawyer believe them with not a slimmer of evidence? I have always had a heart for the hurting and especially wrongfully accused, but now it was me. That was kind of the draft of what I wrote immediately when I started writing, because I didn't think about writing it then.
Right.
Because you can ask me whatever you want to ask.
And I'm actually kind of glad you read that snippet, because even on my way to the studio, for me, I was thinking back to the morning and trying to think of that day, because I was also in a normal routine, getting up and as I normally did before getting dressed, checked the work email and everything else. And there was all kind of emails of, hey, do you guys have a quote on the lawsuit? And one reporter, and I'd actually double checked, I responded our normal response of, we don't comment on pending litigation for the city. And then the link just came back, and I called you immediately. And like you said, it was your day off. And you were like, I know, I'll be at the office in an hour. And that was the moment. And I'm teeing it up, but the moment of strength you even had in that moment, I knew I had to have nothing but strength. And you came to the office, you worked as long as you could, and then was like, I'm gone. And the rest was history. So going into the dive, and like I said, the snippet kind of talked about it, but as the time went on, the morning went on, then they became more and more public with headlines. Talk about kind of like I said, that afternoon, how you felt emotionally, spiritually, and how it immediately kind of changed your life on that July day?
I think I remember just feeling numb, disbelief, because of living as long as I had and never experiencing anything. I mean, everybody live has been lied on in their life.
Right.
But to have something that it was one of my worst nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
And, I can't go yet into the details. I will when I can. But I had another colleague. I had several colleagues who had been through this across the country. And I was the one who lived so carefully in not being in certain situations.
Mm-hmm.
And having worked for me for many years, I hug with my hands folded.
Yes, you do.
Without giving too much detail, this place is full of cameras.
Right.
There's not a area you can go into except a restroom that you're not on camera.
Right.
And so I was numb. I wasn't yet hurt because I thought this is a fluke.
Right.
And I really thought it was political.
Yes.
And I thought there is no way. I mean, as a human, I've fallen short of the glory of God. What I have not done
Right.
was those things that were alleged.
Mm-hmm.
So it went from first kind of shock.
Yeah.
And it's like an accident.
Mm-hmm.
Your body goes into shock.
Yep.
Went to work, got up, and then when the realization, this is not a dream. This is real. This is your life.
Yep.
Then is when I started spiraling and going down the rabbit hole.
So, and because I know, like you said, there's a book on the way. So, I know for most of us, spiritually, we would have been wiped out. And that would have been, God, are you kidding me? Talk about that relationship with God in those moments, those early moments, because you've preached continually over these last few years, and realizing it's 2.5 is even crazier. But you continue preaching, you continue serving, continue doing funerals, but talk about that early spiritual walk in that challenge.
And I want to say this about the book. I'm not writing a book so that I can make money. I'm writing a book for other people who have ever been accused of something they ever didn't do, and to support people who have actually been essayed. And the reason I say that is because when there are false claims out there, it then makes people question the real claims.
Absolutely.
And so I thought it was important to support those people who have actually been essayed. And the reason I use those on the radio want to know why I'm using it is because of social media. Some platforms will block it out. Spiritually, and because I wanted a raw interview on our own platform, spiritually, I was broken.
Mm-hmm.
And the title of the book is something to the effect, the day I decided I didn't want to go to heaven.
Yeah.
And I literally went home and laid in the bed. And I said, this is what I said. God, if this is how you treat me, I don't want to be with you. I'd rather go to hell because I was in hell.
Yeah.
I felt in hell. So my thought was, why would I want to go at that point?
Right.
Why would I want to go and be with an unjust God who left me out there, who did not cover me? And so I was spiritually bankrupt.
Yeah.
I still believed in God because I was still talking to God.
Right.
But I had lost trust in the God that I believed in. So that's where I was. And I stayed there, but I didn't stop preaching about his goodness.
Right.
If you look back at the sermons from after then, nothing changed.
Nothing.
I didn't start pulling my baggage, my hurt into the pulpit. I came into the church that Sunday to a standing ovation.
Yes.
I gave my piece, and then I preached the sermon, the word of God.
And I will say this, and again, ever since you kind of mentioned doing this last week, all kind of thoughts. It's almost like reliving tops, like the traumatic experiences. Like you think back over and over again, and I kept. I'm jumping probably to the end of the interview, but the case dismissal wasn't vindication or validation, because we knew you were innocent the whole time. So this wasn't a like, whoo, we made it.
Absolutely.
We made it on the other side.
The dismissal of the case wasn't a day of joy for me.
No.
It was, I can't even say bittersweet. It's still bitter.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it was still a case.
Yeah.
And it still had my name on it. Mm-hmm. And I still had to live with it. And the only part that ever makes me emotional is thinking about what my kids had to go through.
Absolutely.
And my grandkids had to go through. And one of the other reasons of writing the book is because my great-grandchildren and my great-great deserve to hear the real story and never be able to just Google my name and only know the lie and not know the details of the truth. And so if that exposes me, if that puts me out there, I got to take whatever that is that goes with it, and I'm okay with that, because nobody can tell my story better than I can. And the reason I did not do certain interviews that were requested is because my feeling was, you're going to chop it up, you're going to put out there what you want to, and I learned that about the press. And speaking of one of the greatest hurts of all of this was some of the press. The same press that anytime they called me,
absolutely,
I'm laying in my bed, probably almost dying of COVID. When the press called, I still answered.
Sure did.
I never hid anything. They were complaining. I'm just going to be straight out. I'm too old to be. Most of the press were complaining about what the Brown administration wouldn't do.
Yep.
How they would not answer calls. Pridgen always answered the daggone calls.
Yes.
Pridgen always stood, regardless of whether I was going to be criticized for my answer or not. I always answered the press.
Yes, you did.
There was only one person in the press that I stopped answering because he kept trying to set me up, sit in front of my face, smiling in my face. Then when it hits the news, it's like, and we asked them the tough questions. Well, damn it, the dag on it. Is that going to get bleeped?
No, it won't.
Excuse me. I decided I don't have to talk to you. Why would I talk to you when all you're trying to do is use my interviews in order to get clout?
Yes.
And the same thing with the one station I'm not even going to mention.
Nope.
That at the end of the day, you put my face on the news with a allegation. It's all right to report the news. Everybody reported it.
Yes.
Buffalo News, I got to give them big ups because they did the article afterward, after I talked to this woman on the phone with Kenny Simmons, with the Buffalo News, and was apologized to and said, I don't know why you're going through this.
Yep.
Somebody stole my purse and stole my identity.
Mm-hmm.
They ran it. Only thing I got a problem with, you ran my face on the front page when there was an allegation. Ain't been one mention of the dismissal.
It was mute. It's been mute.
I didn't even get into the want ads.
Nope.
Not an article, nothing. Because a lot of people, and there was some advice to me, well, you can settle and this could just go away. And I've said it. I said it with Claudine. The reason that I did talk to Claudine is because Claudine was fair. Channel 2, of all people, were fair.
Yes.
Channel 4, fair. Buffalo News did the article the next day after a reporter was on the call and heard this woman say it. So at the end of the day, that was hurtful. And what also was hurtful was a leading politician, leading elected official, who did not call, who did not send a text, and then weeks later sent a message by somebody in their office that they didn't call me because they were already under scrutiny. So, and when they told me, you know what I said? I wish you had never told me that.
Yeah.
So, So I packed a lot in there.
I was getting ready to say you kind of went into where I was going to go, and it was what was the hardest part in these 2.5 years of carrying the weight when you had some people. Most of us knew the truth, but there was the ones that didn't and said, "Oh, well, we'll see how the cookie crumbles. He's going to settle. They got money. They'll just settle." And
let me be clear, and I'm going to be clear again.
Yep.
I would rather be in my grave before I give anybody a penny of my money. I'm Earl Pridgen's son.
Mm-hmm.
My mother is the loving one. My father is the alpha male.
Mm-hmm.
And a man tried to rob my father a few years ago. My father is walking down Landon near Jefferson. A boy comes up, and I don't recommend this, puts a gun in my father's stomach, a silver gun, and said, "Run me your pockets." Earl Pridgen said, "I'll run you your behind," not using the word behind. I started crying as he told me. I'm like, "Dad, why didn't you give him your wallet?"
Right.
My father says, "Son, I wasn't worried about that wallet.
Mm-mm.
I was worried that guy would think that he could rob some other senior citizen."
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, I want to be clear for anybody else out there who thinks that True Bethel has so much money, Darius Pridgen has so much money. I've been working since I was 14 years old. And at the end of the day, I got enough, but I'm telling you this, I wouldn't give a daggone if I had $40 million and you trying to get $40 out of me. You can ask me, and if I want to give it, I'll give it. And if I don't want to give it, it's my money.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm never going to be so weak that this could have been gone. To be very honest, this could have been gone back in 2023, early 2024. This could have been gone. But I refused to not show up. I refused to give a dime to anybody, and I'm always going to be like that.
And does it hurt the most because... And those that truly know you, truly have worked for you and worked with you, does it hurt the most that you have one of the biggest hearts that I know? You are the kumbaya guy. You are where I'm Peter grabbing the swords and ready to cut ears off. You are like Jesus. Like, no, we can't do that. That's not us. Does that put some vinegar in the wound because?
I think that people think that they can take advantage of me.
Yeah.
I think that because we feed the hungry, because we clothe folks, because we put up housing, and every daggone thing that we've done, there's always, and that's just life.
Yeah.
There's always some critic out there. Oh, but they this. Oh, but they that. Oh, but that. When we had raised the money for the sanctuary and put it out there. Oh, that money could have went to such. But you don't mind coming in here for a funeral.
Mm-hmm.
That if there's a house fire, if there's a homicide, if there's a baby death, that we don't even charge. You don't mind that, but you mind if we got to ask. Does it put some vinegar? At the end of the day, to be very honest, I'm still in the process of being better.
Mm-hmm.
But I am very careful. I'll give you an example. There was a woman walking down the street the other day. It's freezing outside.
Mm-hmm.
She has on no gloves. She's walking from Tops with groceries.
Mm-hmm.
The Darius before July of 2023 would have pulled over and gave her a ride. The Darius after July of 2023 would only do it if I had somebody else in the car.
Yeah.
So it has changed me in certain ways, but it has also motivated me because I've always been the one not to believe something about somebody because of what they say.
Right.
31 years of pastoring. You ain't coming to me about a member of True Bethel and you just going to give me your side. And I'm going to run with it. And I've never been that person. So, yeah, it does. It did change me. I mean, and I'm still on a journey.
Right.
I don't think I'll ever be the Darius before July 2023. I'm still going to be generous. I'm still going to be kind. I'm still going to fulfill the Bible desires of helping our brothers and our sisters. But I am much more protective of me. Because if I let you in my space for real, and you break that trust, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm careful now. I had a party at the house.
Yep.
This is honest truth. There were 3 rings. I have cameras all over my house. And when you got to have cameras in your house because you don't trust, my trust is at an all-time low.
I was getting ready to say, trust has to be shattered. And even once trust is restored, it's more like I still want to be protected. Like I can trust, but I can be protected. And, even as taught in January, like even after I go through and I work through it, it don't mean I have to go back to an unhealthy way of living. So you mentioned it a little bit earlier. So you carried this weight and you kept working, you kept living, which I think is, matter of fact, let's talk about that, because like if there's people who have been accused and they all have their ways of dealing with it. If someone talk to someone right now that, whether it's on a bigger level or on a minor level, that is going through being accused, how to handle that situation.
I wish I could. It's hard still.
Yeah.
Because everybody processes and handles differently. And if I had to talk to somebody, I would see. It's easy to say it on this side,
right?
Because I would say, don't let that be your focus. You still got to live.
Yes.
You still have to function. And if you know you are 100% innocent, still function as an innocent person. Now, everybody doesn't have the resources to be able to hold out like I did and go like, I'm not settling. Here's the crying shame part about it. I didn't know that an insurance company can settle without your permission.
Yes, just because they're ready to stop paying.
If they don't want to keep paying up for a case, they could have. And one of my biggest prayers, God, please don't let this insurance company get tired or feel like financially this isn't worth it and offer some piddly amount. And I spoke to the insurance company, spoke to my lawyers, church spoke to lawyers. At the end of the day, that was something that if they wanted to settle, I think the church would have tried every option, and I was willing, and this is the truth.
Yeah.
I was willing to mortgage my house.
Yeah. You said it.
I would have given up my retirement. I would have mortgaged my house. I'd have did whatever I needed to do if I had to retain outside. But that's what a lot of people don't understand. These false allegations still cost the church money because your insurance goes up.
Absolutely.
So while people out here playing to get money out of somebody, you don't know how it's affecting then the entire system. But Darius was willing. I'm not kidding you. I was willing to let it all go so that I could finance a lawyer if the insurance company wanted to settle.
So, all right. So like I said, we talked about the weight, talked about that feeling. Now let's we're at 12:45. So let's get to the process. You went through a process, and I know, like I said, you can't go into a lot of details, but
and I will, but not now.
So, but there was depositions after depositions. There was hearings after hearings, which is all public, so people can see dates.
Yep.
So, walk us through that process.
I'll walk you
to the dismissal. Yeah.
Let me.
The day
so
of it.
There were depositions. But it was only one deposition. Nobody else.
Right.
There was no witnesses. There was. I hadn't even been deposed yet.
Yeah.
Because the person who accused never showed up.
Right.
Except once.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest about, and I want to say this, and I'm going to say it publicly. My prayer is for her.
Mm-hmm.
My prayer, because, I still feel a responsibility as a father now of the community, as a spiritual leader of the community, to love and to rescue, even if it wounded me.
Mm-hmm.
So the one time, because I thought to myself, maybe I met this person in the grocery store. Where I know I didn't meet her was at this church.
Right.
Maybe I saw this person at a funeral. And when I saw the person at the only deposition, I was looking like, can you look me in my face?
Right.
Which they never would. And say that I did these horrible things?
Yeah.
And so that was like another day that I was just like, because I had days where I literally sat in the house with no TV, no music, no radio, in the dark.
Yeah.
Waiting on God to say something to me. Like, God, come on. I've been pastoring by that time 29 years, 28 years. You're not saying anything. And so to sit across from somebody that you know I've never seen you in my life.
Yeah.
Now, I don't remember names, but I pretty much will remember a face, and especially
If you said that.
if
you
I did
allege
those
that, yeah.
things, I'm going to remember you.
Yeah.
So and I know I'm not answering your question, but it felt those days of being in darkness and still having to come out and bring light to somebody. That was a challenge on my faith.
Yeah.
That was the biggest challenge of my life on my faith.
So you mentioned earlier that the day that you found out the case was dismissed. Let's talk about how you found out, and when you said that the feeling was bitter. Is that a different feeling than what you imagined it would feel like when you found out?
No, it was the same feeling because I knew once, and I knew one or two things was going to happen. Either it's going to be dismissed or we was going to court. And in some ways, I wanted to go to court. I just didn't want it to drag out.
Right.
Right? And I wanted it to go to court because I wanted everybody else to hear this outlandish story and to be able to walk out. And I wanted a jury. I wanted somebody to look at it, right?
Right.
But obviously I didn't want to keep, I don't want to put my kids through it, or the person.
Right.
There's I have to pray for the person. I didn't want to do all that. But when I got the call, it was from a reporter.
Yeah. So almost back kind of where you started.
I'm I get a call from a reporter. The reporter says, a text, hey, do you want to talk about this? No, I don't want to talk about it. Then I get a call from the chairman, because the church's attorney called, said, hey, we just walked out of court. Then I called my attorney, and they gave me all of the information. And there was this bittersweet moment. I was sitting in the house by myself. I was in Atlanta, so I wasn't here
right.
where I got this huge support network, right? So I'm sitting in Atlanta, and I'm alone. And I'm like, how do I react?
Yeah.
What do I do? Do you cry? Do you jump? I did nothing. I went right back. I went to go get myself out of the rabbit hole.
Wow.
Like I no longer have been in the rabbit hole. I had to pull myself out of that.
But there was a piece of you still down.
It was still there.
Yeah.
So I went down and got me.
Yeah.
And it was like I just got the car out the shop. I was like, you know what? I'm going outside. And it was the first time, even though I wasn't in Buffalo going outside, it was the first time feeling like I'm going outside and I don't have all of the baggage on my back. I ain't gonna say I still got a backpack on my back.
Yeah.
I'm human. It still bothers me that anybody could wake up one day and go, choose him.
Yeah.
That bothers me. Choose him. And at the end of the day, I got myself out the piece of me that was left. And this is the truth. And I'm going to give her credit, and I'm going to give it publicly. Monique said these words to me. She said something to this effect. You should be glad that the judge, because the judge kept giving this person time.
Right.
Person don't show up. We're going to extend it 6 more months. Person don't show up. We're going to extend it. Person is in jail. We're going to extend it. She said, you should be glad that happened. I said, why? She said, because nobody can say Pridgen got special treatment.
That's true.
That a judge, I don't even know the judge, by the way, that a judge was influenced to just push that through.
That's true.
Because the judge could have said the first time they ain't show up, it's over.
Right.
Second time, third time, fourth time. But there was no special treatment.
Right.
So I agree that I'm grateful for, because that put it back into perspective for me.
Mm-hmm.
That like Job, there was no special treatment. And I'm not comparing myself to Job at all.
You're right.
But I do understand Job better than I ever have in my life.
So perfect segue into, and you've touched on it a little bit already. But as we transition to the last few minutes of the show, we talked. You used the word forgiveness and praying for the person. How, and again, going back to that early feeling of where you were at spiritually, how would you say, again, kind of speaking to those in the process, how would you say that your faith played a role through this whole process and carrying the weight and even responding the way you are now?
Faith kept me from losing my mind. Faith kept me from crashing out. I'm not going to say I never did.
Right.
There was one night I just was just like, and people were like, oh, your account has been hacked. I was like, my account wasn't hacked. I typed every word of that. That wasn't Chat GPT. That was
No.
Darius.
No.
With all the misspellings and everything else.
Yeah, that's what they call that angry type.
Yeah, because I was just overwhelmed. And I was like, everybody else think they can use the internet.
Yeah.
I just crashed out one night.
Yep.
And then I got up in the morning and I was like, nope. And I deleted it. I thought I deleted it.
Yeah, yes.
And I came to work. And
I was like, oh, you meant that?
he was like, you meant it? And I was like, yeah, but I deleted it. You was like, no, you didn't. I deleted it for me. I didn't realize I didn't take it off. So, so it has just been a ball of emotions. Here's what I wrote when I got the news, to answer your question about that day. I said, I must admit that there were many days I was totally disappointed by the decisions of the judge to keep extending. I thought it was totally unfair that my life hung in the balance while someone I never met was given a chance after chance. And then I talked about her saying someone put it in perspective by telling me that it was a good thing the judge gave her so many chances, so that she has all the opportunity for almost 2 years to show up. Here's what I wrote. The first people I called were my parents, who are 81 and 82. I prayed that God would keep them alive and healthy to see the end of this horrible scenario, and he did. I don't know how to feel. I'm not happy as much as relieved. Surprisingly, I'm not infuriated, as much as totally confused why someone would fabricate a story that hurt more than just me. I'm confused about how my family was not thought about, including my children and great-grandchildren, my grandchildren, when this diabolical plan was hatched. How could a lawyer seemingly not do her due diligence, and yet the outlandish story of a person who has been, and I'm not going to read that part, how could she not even take a small amount of time to look into the story? By the way, the attorney dropped her client.
Right.
I think that is notable.
Yes.
That this attorney, who was out of New York City, went to the judge before dismissal and dropped the client. So at the end of the day, that's why I think that, when these laws are put into place, and basically this was a law that was put into place that gave people, alleged victims or victims, real victims of SA, an opportunity to go beyond the statute of limitations.
Right.
And so in the last days, there was this rush of cases that were being pushed through before the legislation ended. And so there were lawyers advertising for Oh, if you've been a victim of SA, if this has happened to you, call our law offices. And they were pushing this,
Right.
This scenario to, because my heart, and I'm going to say it again and again, goes out to anybody who has been SA.
Yes.
My heart bleeds, and I pray for them, and I'm with them. This was just not that situation at all.
So finally, to close the show, 12:56, for people who have been judged before facts, and I think as you have kind of almost lamented over this time frame about going through it yourself. So as people who have been judged before the facts were known or had their name damaged publicly, what do you want to say to them today about survival, resilience, and eventually healing?
Use whatever you go through in life to make a better world. We can go through things and then cause more chaos, more hurt, more damage because we've been hurt. But as a believer in Jesus Christ, I believe that everything that I go through it in order, and I taught this last night, to be a display case for God.
Yeah.
To be a showcase, and use that. And that's the only reason I'm writing the book. That's the only reason I've been writing it, is to be able to show that you can have the best intentions and still be accused of doing wrong. You can be the best person. So that's why I've never judged anybody. I've been criticized. Oh, they too soft over there. They don't. No, listen. I've never pointed a finger at anybody else's life. Because I knew, shucks, I got my own life. I'm working out my own soul salvation.
Got my own situation.
So my job is to preach the word, but then to utilize, if the story of Job had never been told, I would not have an example of how to act in these situations. And this, and I'm not referring, this show wasn't about the book. I wanted to read because these were my real feelings.
Right.
So this isn't something I'm making up later. And so I would say to anybody out there who has ever gone or will go through anything like that, utilize the worst times of your life to help somebody else. My prayer right now is for one person. I'm not saying I'm not praying for anybody else, but in this situation.
Yeah.
My prayer, I thank God, like I said, for the judge and the judge just keep on extending it. Thank you, Judge.
Yes.
My prayer is for that person who for some reason one day woke up and decided to pick me. I pray for her with all of my heart. And the same way when the boy came in and robbed the subway and he got out of jail, he came to my office at City Hall and said, I'm the one that robbed the subway. Wow. And he said, thank you. We sent bulletins, we sent scriptures, we sent to somebody who robbed us. My prayer is one day I'll see her again and we could have the real conversation. That's my prayer. My prayer is that she will be whole, that she will be healed, and Darius won't be the one to demonize her, because that's God's business to have vengeance. And I'm not even asking God to have vengeance. I'm asking God to help me heal and to help her heal.
Well, folks, I'll sign off for us today. You have tuned in to an hour of Power to the People. We thank you to our sponsors, Hobson's, the Doctor of Dry Cleaning, who we unveiled a sign for. We'll talk a little bit more about that next week. And our longtime sponsor, Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes, with 3 locations to serve you. Until next week, Power to the People.